3 months have passed since the day John first showed up at my door, pleading for me to let Talia stay. She's still living with me, and John has become a regular presence. He picks her up for dates once a week, always polite and respectful, like the perfect boyfriend. They even went away for 2 weekends together. Both times, John assured me his wife knew about the trips and that she was fine with it.
She understands the situation.
He said.
It's not a love marriage, it's just something we have to do for the kids.
Talia still hasn't found a job, and I'm beginning to wonder if she's even looking anymore. John gives her money now and then to get her hair and nails done, and she's receiving state assistance for the baby's care. She doesn't seem worried about the future, content with the arrangement, and completely convinced that John is going to leave his wife soon. But I've had this growing feeling in my gut that something isn't right. Then one day, everything changed. I was at work when I got a notification that I had a visitor. Confused, I made my way to the lobby, and there, standing by the door, was John's wife, Maggie. My stomach dropped the moment I saw her. Her face was calm, but her eyes were tired, and I immediately knew this wasn't going to be a friendly chat. And then I saw it, her stomach. She was pregnant. Not far along, maybe 3 or 4 months, but it was unmistakable. "Hi," she said softly.
I just want to talk.
I couldn't keep the shock out of my voice as I pointed to her stomach. Whose baby is that? Maggie's eyes flashed with something, maybe pity, before she answered.
It's John's. Whose else could it be?
I felt like the floor was falling out from under me. Maggie must have seen the confusion on my face because she stepped closer, lowering her voice.
I know you thought he and I were just together for convenience. That's what he's been telling you, right? But we're still very much together. We're still married and we're still, well, involved.
Maggie went on to explain how things had been since she'd knocked on my door months ago. John had come home after that day, full of apologies, saying that the affair with Talia was over, that he was committed to their marriage. He promised her he wouldn't see Talia anymore and that he was done with the lies.
He's been more attentive lately,
She said, her voice tightening.
He's been helping with the kids more, being a better husband. Except for a couple of weekends when he said he had work trips.
I felt a knot form in my stomach. I already knew what was coming.
I found out those work trips weren't work trips at all.
Maggie continued, her tone hardening.
They were with Talia.
My heart raced, anger and disbelief swirling inside me. Maggie kept talking, her voice steady but laced with pain. She explained how she had suspected something was still going on, how she had confronted John, and how he had spun more lies to keep her from finding out the truth. But now, with the baby on the way, Maggie needed things to be clear. She needed Talia to be out of John's life, for good.
John's a good father,
She said, almost bitterly.
When he's not cheating, he's a good husband too. But I can't compete with this fantasy he's built with your sister. I need her to go away. And I was hoping you could help me with that.
I stared at her, stunned. He told Talia it was a marriage of convenience, that you weren't together. Maggie glanced down at her pregnant belly, her lips curling into a sad smile.
You can clearly see that's not true. For a moment, we just stood there in silence.
Then Maggie took a deep breath and asked,
Can we come up with a plan? Talia needs to know the truth, and I think it's time for her to see John for who he really is.
I hesitated. My mind was racing. Talia was my sister and she was pregnant too, but this whole situation had spiraled out of control, and it wasn't just about her anymore. Maggie's kids, her family, they were all caught in the middle of this, and John was stringing them along just like he was stringing Talia along. Maggie and I sat down and talked for a long time. She told me about her marriage to John, how it had started strong but slowly eroded as he became more distant, more secretive. She admitted that she had known something was wrong for a long time, but had tried to make it work for the sake of their kids. And now, with another baby on the way, she wasn't going to let John destroy their family any further.
I don't blame Talia for falling for his lies.
Maggie said, her voice soft.
But I need her to see the truth. It's going to hurt, but it has to happen. And I can't do it alone.
By the time Maggie left, we had a plan. It was going to be painful for Talia, and I wasn't looking forward to it, but I knew it was the only way. Maggie needed to end this affair for good, and I was going to help her do it. John had been lying to both of them, and it was time for the truth to come out, no matter how much it hurt. As Maggie walked away, I couldn't help but feel like I was betraying my sister. But at the same time, I knew this was the only way to make things right. Talia deserved better than to live in John's shadow, believing his lies, and Maggie deserved a husband who wasn't stringing her along. This was the beginning of the end, and there was no turning back.